The crowd, we know who you're voting for, but jump on Twitter and let us know if you think Origen or Fnatic will be picking up Game 1 in this best of 5 live from Stockholm, Sweden, where the winner will guarantee the first place seed going to the World Championships.
And I just want to highlight the beauty of this Braum pick one more time. It is for me a poke facilitator, which means if you siege and Braum connects Q, it will become so easy for Varus, Corki, even Gangplank to follow up with the poke. You don't even need to proc Winter's Bite or Concussive Blows. Just can get the slow. So if Origen can group up, they'll do mean things to Fnatic. However, Fnatic is fantastic at playing around it. They easily identify the win conditions of other teams' compositions and play around it. That has been their strength throughout the split.
And we feel, and we've discussed, if Origen can get those standard lanes, that might be a way into it. Let's see how Fnatic play around it. Neither team going for deep vision at all, and a very defensive start.
The thing for Origen right here is you want to make sure that Gangplank gets a free lane. You want to make sure he can farm up. He scales so well into late game, and he can turn almost any lane into a farm lane. And then because we know how strong he's late on, it is in favor of him and his team. But at the same time, if it is a lane swap, Braum is a fantastic early roamer as well with the skirmish potential, so they can match the AlistarYellOwStaR. There are good ways for Origen to play out this early game, and that's also why we don't see them take any risk and like invade into the jungle of Fnatic and try and play some wards early on. And obviously soaz can start a camp with his barrel.
This is something we saw yesterday as well from Vizichachi, rather, Oruwame, the Gangplank, and helping clear the farm with that GP passive, get the barrel stacks. We do see Meals and Mythi actually moving their way top, so despite the pros of being in standard lanes, it looks like Origen may initiate this themselves.
So they're going to swallow up top. We didn't get to see the pathing Mythi, or at least didn't notice it if you walked by the ward.
Out.
Oh no, so he was pinged. So he walked from the north, which means he was spotted, but Fnatic is fine as well, taking the 2v1 in this case.
So what Mythi and Niels are doing right now, they're guaranteeing that the map gets evenly divided. Left half to Origen, right half to Fnatic. That's why they're invading the jungle. They want to spot out if Reignover was doing a camp. Huni is now just going to verify that they're not doing a camp, counting how many jungle camps are up, just keeping track of information. Huni will start double jungling. However, soaz and Amazing have already initiated the late swap, so they are one move ahead.
Huni very clearly expected standard lanes, because he was hiding up here in the top. He wasn't ready to double jungle, in case what we see from teams is if you have no clue where the lanes are going, you just start double jungling from the get-go. You take the 2 camps, you share, you get level 2 each, and then you TP top in the 1-on-1 lane or in the 1v2 lane if that is the case. As a top laner, he was sitting top here, so he's been set behind, soaz can return to lane. He should get this tower, and of course the gold from it later on.
So early advantage to Origen, initiating the swap and catching Fnatic a little unawares. The tower's being focused. We do see that both Reignover and Huni have made their way down towards the bottom half, and we will see that tower pressured out shortly.
Yeah, that tower should go down a little slower on Fnatic's side because, of course, they were a little slow to the lane swap party. I just want to see where this wave goes. Is Origen going to do what they did in the previous games? Bounce the wave to Niels, get him fed, make him the carry, or are they going to give the Gangplank the farm he so desperately needs?
The difference here is that when Origen gave the farm to Niels, it was Origen on the bottom side of the map because it was H2K running away from them, always swapping top side. And then soaz had to return to the top lane, and he always had that wave pushing against him, and he needed help to push it out. For now, he's there with Niels. Niels is trying to stay
sharing the gold.
Sharing at least. Okay, so that's
sharing
a step
is
forward
carrying
for soaz. Yeah, before he got nothing, now he gets half.
That is a good point about playing at the bottom side of the map. Fnatic, or Origen rather, will swap their bot lane back to the bottom side of the map so they at least can contest dragons and early objectives. Like looking to do the same. Huni, his wave's bouncing toward him.
And Brexit is in that annoying situation now, where if you do give the tower over to your AD carry, you don't have enough gold for pickaxe. So when you do recall, you have to like look at the shop and be like, I really want that pickaxe, I can't afford it, so you get a second Doran's Blade, which is of course not as effective. The Corki, itemizing towards the Trinity Force is so easy. Their early components are very effective.
Much more comfortable power spike, as it were. We did catch a brief glimpse there of both Febiven and Peck in the mid lane, both running Flash Cleanse, both got hard CC and great wave clear, expecting that just to be a farm fest unless somebody roams or gets involved from the jungle.
Now after this lane swap initiated by Origen, we started the day by saying how Fnatic were better in lane swap, but if you look at the farm, Huni is 14 CS behind his compadre soaz right there, and usually the way Huni comes back from a deficit is making a fantastic teleport play. So you have to keep in mind, what is he going to do with that DP? YellOwStaR Looking to maybe even flash over the Raptors, and they have their eyes set on expected combo. He flashed!
Wow! YellOwStaR flash from the Raptor camp and does get Peke's flash down. While we see Niels in the bottom lane, he's shoving out the tower with the help of Amazing. And if you look up top, Soaz is defending while Rekkles is getting in his face.
And if you wonder why Huni left that bottom lane, instead of taking the wave, push back towards him, get some farm, get some experience, because Fnatic was so delayed with that level 1 start and taking down the tower, OG could swap down to the bottom lane, pushed his wave in, and if Huni stayed, they would just 4-man tower dive him. Source would just TP down once he saw 2-man top. No flash from Peke.
But he has cleanse.
He's going to sidestep the cocoon. The laser's going to connect. Teleport from Soaz. Is he going to cancel it? No, he's going to arrive. So, Summoner Spell used, and with the numbers advantage and the tower secured, Origen are now going to set themselves up on the Dragon.
Wanted to use it to get down towards the bottom side anyway. Needs to make sure he can catch the wave once it hits up top though. So TP advantage for Fnatic at least after 2 ganks in a row against Peke. This is one of the reasons Varus as a pick has fallen a little bit out of the meta again here in Europe. Teams have figured out we can early camp him and then he's very easy to shut down.
Yeah, beautiful escapes by Expected there. Sidestepping. That Dragon's really hard to kill in the early game but goes uncontested. Soaz managed to freeze the wave too, so he's safely firing. He's going to extend that lead, or at least keep it the same number of CS compared to Huni. Huni now has teleport advantage, but at the same time, he wants to keep farming. It's a very tough choice for him.
This again, the key thing about how Origen was a step ahead of Fnatic, because they got to now kill a second tower and once again bounce the wave. Make sure the tower killed all your own minions. When the next one followed, they push down towards you. So they keep getting lanes for Soaz where you can pick up more farm than Huni.
And it's paying off. Still 15 CS in the lead as we're getting closer to 7 minutes. Rekkles does have a small lead over Niels, but I think Fnatic are hoping this will standardize out. You can see Rekkles playing Tristana only a couple times versus Niels Corki, but he's picked up an Avarice Blade and 2 Dorans. That's going to take a long time before he gets that BF sword.
It does mean that his build becomes very gold efficient. That early Avarice Blade is going to stack up and just generate so much gold for him. He's also looking to go for a quick 3rd item power spike with the Last Whisper, so he's going to go Infinity Edge, Static Shift into Last Whisper, and he's going to spike very early. He's not going to hit that super strong part where you have IHPD, but he'll get the armor pen a lot earlier.
So the later part will come earlier, but the earlier part will come later.
Something like that.
Definitely not very strong at the moment, but if you're on 80 carry and you're forced to go back anyway because you keep swapping the lanes around, gotta use the gold you have. Now, 2 members are defending from Origen. This can be a risky dive for Fnatic, but they do have teleport. Mythy showing himself might stop this dive because now 3 guys are here.
It is incredibly hard to dive anybody that has assistance from a Braum because he can simply redirect the damage with his shield. Also concussive blows. Incredibly hard to play around because 1 tag is all you need and then teammate can proc that stun for you. Kind of like wisely back off. YellOwStaR is very angry about this.
Very good read though from Mythy. Looking at the map saying, okay, Huni's not a threat, so we can easily push his wave out with Niels on his own. We have a few early wards on the top side, so we didn't spot Rain over either. Okay, where can they be on the map? Bottom side is being shoved up. Rekkles keeps playing aggressive. There can only be 1 place, and he recalls and returns and stops the dive.
High-level strategy is a process of elimination, just the same way you do it with deep warding on jungle camps. Good read here by Origen. But still, it's so hard to get a lead against Fnatic gold-wise. You want a golden difference right now. Rekkles jumps forward, and this is what they want to do. They want to speed him up every time he gets there. Put the E on top of him and then proxy Q from Huni. If he's behind, he can still offer utility.
And if you take a look at Fnatic's playstyle, considering they have Alistar, considering they have Elise, 2 of arguably the best tower diving champions in the game, YellOwStar's tried twice to tower dive somebody from Origen and has been unable to make it work. If you go back to semifinals, when they were tower diving Unicorns of Lodge, it was excellently played. So Fnatic making it very clear how they want to try build advantages in the early game.
Well, also Origen showing that they are better than the Unicorns of Love at reading where's the dive gonna happen. When there's only 1 lane pushing, it's very easy as a team to predict where would they put the pressure, obviously where the wave is coming in. Standard build from Huni, he's realizing I'm not getting any farm. He's going for full cooldown reduction on the Lulu for Real Nomicon as the first item with the boot, and he's just going to beat the utility bot in the top.
While Fnatic hasn't found any merit in their dives, they just put enough pressure to slow down Amazing in his jungle. Look at the CS difference here, 14. Reignover is now 500 gold ahead already of his opponent, Amazing.
Look at the same thing again though. Fnatic, they send 3 guys top. They keep moving YellOwStaR and Reignover with where Rekkles is pushing the waves. But you see at the same time, Mythy now returned to the tower. You see Amazing was moving topside. So both teams are basically saying, we know where we want to dive, and the other team saying, we know where you want to dive, and they're both meeting each other every single time, and therefore nothing happens from it.
And of course, when both teams are reading the same book, it means they're even in everything except dragons. Gold is even, towers is even. CS relatively even, despite the fact that Huni's down. He's currently 500 gold behind Soaz in that top lane. And there's, of course, the lane swap gold differences that we've come to expect as averages. This game is by no means any average game.
Yeah, well, the team gold is even. It is funneled into different players. Reignover has a lead over Amazing. Huni's obviously behind Soaz. We'll have to see once the teams start playing through their strengths, once the grouping comes out from Origen, if they can siege on Fnatic and punish them, deny that wave clear from the Viktor E with the Braum shield. If they can do that, then they can start getting additional towers, global gold, and perhaps manage the lead they so desperately need to take a game of Fnatic.
And that's why I really agree with the approach Origen is taking of let's defend the lane Nils is in and make sure he cannot get killed by Fnatic, because it means Soaz is one-on-one in another lane. He keeps getting farmed a lot more than Huni, and you want to make sure, even though he wasn't a lane swap, that he hits that 24th fairly early, because that mid-game is your time to group. That's where you can poke down with barrels, Varus Q, rockets from the Corki, and Fnatic's wave clear is going to be obviously the Viktor sitting in there in that mid lane, but if he takes a bit of poke damage, he's forced away from the tower.
And if we go later in the game, who's going to deal with Soaz once this
Nobody.
settles into a 4-1? Huni is desperately far behind. The only person that can really do it is Rekkles. Huni being targeted right now. Q from Braum comes in. He has to flash.
And
doesn't flash.
Not going to be able to.
Greedy play, saving his flash here. On his
Not the first time we've seen that.
We've seen that a few times. Yeah, teams like to focus him. He wants to save that summoner. He likes to overextend a little bit for farm. Not in this case, of course. He was sitting very far back, but beautiful setup from Origen. Doing exactly what Fnatic tried to do against them twice. They do it now once against Fnatic, and it works.
And you can see Huni again, the focus. Huni falling further behind Soaz.
And he went for a full cooldown reduction build. Doesn't matter though, if you can't even cast your abilities once, CDR is going to be useless. Leaves him with very little HP. He's incredibly far behind, especially... We've been tracking gold, we've been tracking pushes, but what we haven't been tracking is experience. Huni's only level 6 and Soaz is already well up towards level 9, so he's 8.5 right now. Huni, I'm just going to double check here, is roughly 6.2, so more than a 2-level lead on Soaz. And it'll be incredibly hard to stop the split push coming out later. In the remaining part of Origen, they can safely push in any lane that they want, just 4-man. They have disengage and poke.
Yeah, we need to see Origen keep the 4-1 going because of how strong Soaz is. Also adding the fact his ulti, of course, is global. He can assist with it. Normally, Gangplank is fantastic at setting up dragons, but because he's so strong, let him apply pressure there. He can always TP down and join in case a fight breaks out.
And we do see that Reignover is going for the AP build. Runeglaive into Sork Shoes, and it's Fnatic that have actually started themselves off the dragon. Origen are nearby, and there are teleports up.
Forcing a fight on the dragon, but stolen by Amazing. You hide your weaknesses. Huni still has his flash. Reignover goes up.
Fnatic's trying to get away. No stunts coming in yet. Glacial Fissure comes out. Cannon Barrage down. Origen able to secure the second dragon.
So Origen gets the dragon. Fnatic started it. They knew there could be a fight. Soaz as well joined in even after the dragon was gone. And that means Huni can return to that top lane, try and catch a little bit of farm for himself. Both top laners use the TP.
That is usually how you hide your weaknesses. It is by grouping, and if you're overall even on gold, obviously getting a weak member to the team, trying to make a play that way is what you want to do as Fnatic. However, Origen were ready for it, and they managed to steal that crucial dragon. They're already at 2 right now. Can definitely speed up for a potential 5-dragon win condition.
I would love to see an Origen be ready to take the fight even before dragon went down, even though they managed to steal it, because at this point they were so far they had Trinity Falls completed for Nils as well.
And the problem was they were so afraid of losing their mid lane tower. They really want that tower up to have the safety behind Expected to make it incredibly hard to dive and punish him so he can keep ramping up. So Becca was still cleaning a wave in the mid lane, allowed Fnatic to rotate in. But then OG decided to pincer from both angles. Fnatic had to flash defensively over the wall, so a lot of pressure coming out of Origen.
Seeing slightly less pressure on the inner turrets. Origen have now grouped up middle, using the advantage they have built up. Febiven's wave clear completely nullified by Mithy, and it looks like Origen, they're going to try focus this tower down. There's a 2-man stun into a 2-man knocker. YellOwStaR is going to get out. Fnatic have got their first kill. They're trying to run down Peke, but crucially, that tower stays alive, if only for a few more seconds.
Origen, the minions died here. They stayed just to finish it, but they can keep doing this. There's no TP in Source. That's one of the reasons he's joining the team. We see the zone control of the barrels. Also, Gangplank passive works on towers. So taking them down is going to go so fast with double Trinity Force and the Gangplank here. Huni I think a few rockets are.
Yeah, we all held our breath for that next piercing arrow. Didn't come through, and Origen, 2 waves later, secure their 3rd tower. They extend the gold lead ever so slightly, and if we go back to the Week 7 matchup between these two teams, it stayed very even for a very long period of time before Origen punished a Fnatic mistake.
And something you have to keep in mind for this matchup is cooldown management. Unbreakable right now is on a 16-second cooldown. Viktor can launch a laser every 6 or 7 seconds, so while if he can deny one type of wave clear, you have to be ready for the second shot, because that's what they got caught off guard. Origen tried to finish that tower, but then suddenly Viktor damage comes out, and you see what they can do to bunched up opponents. So Origen will definitely have to spread out, calmly poke. Don't do what H2K did yesterday. Don't get greedy. Slowly play out your lead, play to your strengths, and hide your weaknesses.
These cooldowns is just one of the reasons I love the Viktor build Febiven is going for, where you don't waste time on building Morel and Omicron. You get the CDR boots instead, and then you start building towards your late game items, the death cap. Loot and Zeko, potentially, we have seen the movement speed build a few times on Viktor's versus poke, where you get Loot and Zeko now, and you get so much extra mobility to dodge around these abilities and get in range of the backline. Because if you look at Origen's side here, get to Varus or Corki, Viktor can one-shot him.
Yeah, so Viktor could, in theory, one-shot them, but I think Soaz, Niels, and Peke might want to share shots. 2 Trinity Forces completed. You've seen the Brutalize and the Manny continue to stack. Soaz is 75 CS ahead of Huni. And let that speak for itself. Huni right now still trying to catch up in levels. Level 8 versus level 10. And Soaz, I think, is very, very close to upgrading his Cannon Barrage. 400 Silver Serpents. We'll see what he decides to upgrade first. It won't be too long before he can.
After looking at a little bit more gangplank, after the games yesterday, talked to Wonderware, the top laner for Team Dignitas EU, who just qualified for the EU LCS. A lot of gangplank players also prefer getting more damage on that old team to start. Remember, they were taking a lot of damage here.
Did use the cleanse to get away.
Hesitation on Mithy. That ultimate could have connected and forced a flash on Febiven, which was a little bit too slow, but it was enough to zone him up the tower. He has Unbreakable.
Ooh.
Look at the damage.
Rainover eats 1 barrel and arrow and is chunked to 20%.
This is all Origen needs to do. Push 1 member off the tower. You don't even have to kill him. You're looking for towers instead. So they force them away. They take another one. But the fact that all 3 outer turrets gone allows them to very easily ward the flanks, and there's no real threat from Fnatic in terms of engaging, other than YellOwStaR really.
While all of the threat is on the side of Origen, Barrel is set up, Rekkles is poked out. Origen are going to grab their 5th tower, basically uncontested. And if there were any non-believers in the audience, they have been stunned. Origen have shown up, and they started the lane swap that started the slow grind to a 2,000 gold lead, a tower lead, and all of the map pressure.
That little change for Origen in the last pick when they were thinking about the Twisted Fate, said, wait a minute, Fnatic has barely any form of engage right here. We can very easily run a poke composition, and we can just slowly but surely force them off towers, take them down, and get a gold lead from it. Very, very smart pick and ban phase. Still, the fact we get Gangplank as a blind pick with the Riven ban, that enables the whole thing because he just works so well in these poke compositions. 1-4, 5-man together, he can do all the things.
All the things and all the things well with a 60 CS advantage. We did see some posturing around the previous Dragon. 30 seconds before it spawns, Origen have got all of the deep vision to play with and a teleport. Cannon Barrage will be up soon as well.
Now, Origen are in that phase of the game where H2K yesterday was getting a little greedy. They got a lot of outer turrets, but it's kind of too early to start thinking about Baron. Yes, 20 minutes Baron spawns, but it's incredibly hard to take that down efficiently because Baron does so much damage. Teams can come at you and just kill you when you're doing it. So what they need to do is just slow down, inch forward the vision, and slowly set up for the next Dragon, and then completely choke Fnatic out of their own jungle, steal away their buffs, their raptors, their wolves, and then eventually move towards the Baron.
Beauty of poke compositions. They really want the Baron buff because it makes them insanely overpowered. If you can barely clear the minions, what can you do against the amount of poke? But they're very weak at taking the Baron because they rarely have anyone who can really tank it, and you don't want to get caught in a Baron pit.
And we see the 3rd Dragon being taken by Origen, and just, to touch on that point, that's why when poke meta was rampant, we saw poke versus poke. It was very often these weird standoffs around the Baron pit. Both really wanted it, but neither could secure it. So we'll need to see if Origen have learned from that. They do the right thing though. They steal away red buff, leave some deep vision. Likely see Niels rotate to the mid lane or even top later, and then get some more deep vision on the left side of the map. Slowly setting up that 4-1 Baron control with Soaz split pushing.
This is a thing we have seen this game as well, and something Origen has shown all split long. their ability to maximize farm on 3 carries, 1-3-1 setups. Now we need to see what happens in the mid lane, because Rekkles is nearby with the rest of Fnatic. They're going in!
They've called Peke! Peke used his flash already and he's down! Fnatic have got a kill! Soaz is teleporting in and here comes Gangplank! The pirate instantly has to run away. Too risky. Puts down a powder kick, chains them together. That's going to hurt and slow YellOwStaR. Wild Growth is still available for Huni. So Fnatic, they get themselves a kill and they're trying to set up a siege on this middle outer turret, but Reignover's been hit. The powder kick chains are great from Soaz. Flash body slam, I think that was short. Knocks Rekkles back before he jumps out. You can't keep him down with the rocket jump. The wave is cleared and Origen hold on to their tower.
Yeah, really good jump there by Rekkles. He waits for the cast to explode, then he jumps out afterwards, channeling that jump perfectly. I just want to replay and just keep your eyes on where YellOwStaR is on the map once we get the minimap back. The Reignover flash cocoons, I believe, to force expected flash up in the top left of your screen. Flash spell rise, knockup. That's what dreams are made of for Fnatic. That's what they need to come back, and somehow they always find a way.
Peke had cleanse ready though. You could get that cocoon in your face, cleanse it, and save your flash. Anyway, though, it's a beautiful setup from Fnatic because they had the vision control on the top side. Origen put all the focus on Dragon, the bottom half of the map, so they couldn't spot the flank. Every other time they've been grouping, they have wards on both sides. They can see where Fnatic is coming from. They can push another tower now in the top side because, again, they have full vision. They can see YellOwStaR.
Well, YellOwStaR is just going to be a threatening pose. We have to mention that Rekkles finished his Infinity Edge a few minutes ago, is continuing to farm up with that Avarice Blade. Already earned 600 bonus gold. This is when he's going to start to shine once he can get that Shiv and Last Whisper completed.
And we'll need to see how well Origen can learn from their mistakes and read the game. If you're running a siege composition, you're naturally weak to flanks, so you need to ward your sides, make sure YellOwStaR can't get behind you. And when we get stacked there, YellOwStaR moving to the front. Now it's easy. If you can see him coming, you can poke him, you can chunk him, force him backwards.
And we can see the first upgrade of Cannon Barrage. That was Death's Daughter by Soaz, a little later than Oduamne yesterday, but it allows OG to get the tower.
So I very quickly talked about this before with the Gangplank, what some of the Gangplank players likes to do now. Get that Death's Daughter very early because it's more damage than Fire at Will in the early stages until you get like the rank 3 ulti and the extra amount of hits really matter. This is better for early damage. That's why they go for it as the first upgrade.
Origen doing such good work with vision. You see all the deep wards. Fnatic are a little grouped up. They're focusing on the tower. Origen are the ones that are split and retreating. Rekkles is trying to run him down with Whimsy. The explosive cask is going to mix them around. Barrel into barrel for a double barrel kill. Huni gets knocked down. Febiven and Rekkles retreating. Rekkles is low. Peke is going to start charging the piercing arrow. He's going to snipe Rekkles, but not enough for the kill. Former teammates chasing them down. The piercing arrow from Peke penetrates Rekkles' heart, and Fnatic lose 4.
Once again here, Origen are so strong in the mid game. This time around, Fnatic did not get the engage they were looking for. Mythy managed to flash away, but that's just the support. Rest of Origen comes in, they're starting the Baron. Febiven, it's time to be a hero.
Deficio, history repeats itself at 22 minutes 4 weeks ago. Fnatic overstayed a team fight, lost it and lost Baron, and found themselves 7,000 gold down. In the finals of the summer split, Origen hold a 7k gold lead, and this is why.
Yeah, let's watch that again. Fnatic, they force open mid lane very hard because they know they've lost complete control of the Baron vision. But this beautiful explosive cast into combo Phosphorus Bomb on Huni one-shots him. Now YellOwStaR trying to peel, but there's no damage follow-up. And then Soaz flanks. He forces Rekkles to jump out and flash defensively. Still snipes the Reignover down, lose my words here, and then Soaz somehow stays alive. And that's really weird. He got knocked out there or flashed out, and he managed to stay alive, and then that's enough damage to take down the Baron eventually.
But let's look at these two compositions and how they want to play out a team fight. We talked about it again, Fnatic. If they can flank and get to the backline of Origen, the Corki, the Varus, and almost one-shot them, then they won't have the same amount of damage if you compare the two backlines at this point in the game. So we saw that fight. It was on to Mythy. Nielsen started to then manage to jump away. There was no follow-up. YellOwStaR wasn't there. And then Origen will take the fights. And now he's just going to knock up Amazing. Not going to do a whole lot. This mid lane tower is going down.
It is down indeed. Here comes Peke for more poke. Fnatic have lost their 7th tower. They had a 21-game winning streak, and this might be the one that ends that. An inhibitor is going down, and Origen in the finals, a team that so many people had counted out, have got a massive lead in the first game of this best of 5.
Fnatic, they haven't lost a single game this split. So how will they bounce back from a potential loss? Will it shake them, or will just say, okay, next time it will be better? You know, how they will gonna adapt? They really need to work on adapting to this Gangplank pick, because these barrels and these ultimates from Soaz are doing so much work, combined with just the peel from Miffy on that Braum.
Just look how he's chaining the barrels when the team moves in to hit the tower. So suddenly Fnatic, they have to step back, because if you move into the barrel and get the crit in your face, well, you can't fight anyway. So by them moving away from it, it opens up for the carries to hit the tower, and suddenly there's nothing Fnatic can do.
Well, for Fnatic, they tried it to defend, but look at those chains. Febiven and Huni, amazing rolls of barrels. Soaz blows his barrels up, and they're gonna knock Fnatic out of the air with a barrel roll of destiny. Another inhibitor being focused down. Origen at 25 minutes are using the poke and the Baron empowered minions to shut Fnatic down. Inhibitor number 2 will fall shortly, and for Origen, the safe calls to back away and spend that gold. A lot of money in their back pockets.
And this all goes down to the early game, the early levels. Even Fnatic was so sure that Origen was going to take the 2v2 in bot lane, 1v1 top lane, got surprised. We're one move behind, and for the first time this split, teams didn't make a follow-up mistake against Fnatic when they get ahead. Origen played out the early to mid game beautifully. Couple small mistakes, but Peke, it took him 3 repetitive ganks to finally get him, and even then they couldn't capitalize on when he was dead. And he managed to stay alive long enough for his team to start grouping, to start sieging, taking game 1.
Just a very greedy start from Rooney, sitting in that lane expecting the 1v1, setting himself and the rest of his team behind in that swap. And of course Origen, full credit to them using that advantage. Soaz has been so far ahead of Rooney all game long, and then we can talk about, oh, Lolo doesn't need the same amount of farm. No, but you need to shut down the Gangplank from getting that farm, otherwise he will get to his late game point, vintage, Trinity Force, and then he really starts killing your team.
You mean letting your opponent's top lane get twice the farm of your own top laner, averaging 10 per minute, and then seeing how Soaz is using his barrel mechanics so effectively? I'm going to take a look at Cannon Barrage. Has been upgraded now to fire at will, and that is in fact 3 minutes earlier than we saw yesterday from Odoamne as well.
The main thing we have seen for Soaz with the barrels has been zoning more than necessarily dealing damage. We haven't seen him like chain the barrels and hit the backline of Fnatic more than maybe once. It's more just the way he's setting them up when they're sieging. The threat of his ulti and then the barrels coming in is enough to push Fnatic off, and that's a free tower.
All right, Fnatic know what's coming. They know there's going to be siege on the bot lane, so they're posturing for a potential flank. They want to get Origen before they set up perfectly for that siege. So side vision, flank vision will be very important. That's what Miffy's doing right now, warding over the wall. They spot YellOwStaR and Reignover. That buys them time again. Now Reignover and YellOwStaR will have to get creative. Look for Flash Pulverize, Flash Cocoon. Fnatic will want to force something before they inevitably get sieged off this tower.
So we have the banner of command from Miffy. One of the supports who introduced it here in Europe, obviously to empower the push even more. Meanwhile, Soaz is killing a few minions very, very quickly and applying a bit of pressure on the top side. Fnatic, time is running out.
For Origen, time is just starting. If they beat Fnatic, they will take the #1 seed in the World Championships for Europe. And this may be the start of that push. Soaz is on the Nexus turrets. Febiven and Huni have been pulled away to try and deal with one pirate. He's got a tower. Soaz is looking for another tower. He's got some minions to deal with first. The cannon barrage is going down, and the rest of Origen, they've been engaged on. YellOwStar's looking for the fight. They've got Miffy, but he's not a damage dealer. That's an aggressive rocket jump forward. Soaz has the help of the minions. Origen are onto the Nexus. Oh, see, Soaz forced away. Fnatic are going to try dig deep and try to protect their base.
But he's pulling all of Fnatic back to the Nexus so Nils can take down the last outer turret. Origen, they are still in full control.
Origen is beautifully dancing around the lack of engage of Fnatic, backdooring their former teammates with Soaz right here. Third inhibitor falls, Nexus is exposed. How long will it take?
Not that long, Crepo. Fnatic are trying to wave clear this out, and maybe a few minutes of life remain. Origen have peeled back and have played a near flawless game to push Fnatic into their Nexus.
Blue team's inhibitor is respawning soon.
I love to watch Soaz on a pick where he can be annoying. Be as annoying as possible, where he can split push, where he can move behind enemy lines and kill everyone 1 versus 1. Gangplank is perfect for him. Both him and Xpeke are 2 of the players in Europe who's the best at basically playing solo.
Yep.
Always setting up these plays for themselves. So the fact that Gangplank is now in the mix means both teams, we know Huni has been playing it a lot as well, will suddenly have to either first pick it or ban it.
And that playstyle also reflects in the builds of the remaining teammates. Niels, for example, went for the Bloodthirster second after Triforce because he knows he doesn't need more damage. All he needs to do is clean up, add some pressure, poke and siege, and just stay alive somehow if inevitably he does get flashed on. That was Fnatic's Hail Mary right there. Q flash from YellOwStaR, but it wasn't enough. All they had to do was sacrifice Mithy, wait for the split push. They traded support for 2 Nexus towers. Pretty sure Quickshot would take that one.
And talking about the damage part here, what is Reignover doing? Ruined Glaive, Hourglass on Elise. I mean, come on, you don't have to be an AP carry. Go for Cinderhole, get a Locket early on, or at least get some tanky stats for yourself. Locket probably not the most effective in this case, but there's at least some magic damage. But tank Elise is a lot better because you already have enough early game power just with your very, very strong base damage. You're now trying to be basically an assassin, yet there's no way for you to ever get in there and deal the damage. So I really disagree with his build in this game here.
2 Barons secured for Origen. Super minions in the bottom lane, and they're 1.5 minutes away from a potential aspect if they want that as well. For Origen, they're going to set themselves up for the final push very, very shortly.
Yeah, and these tempered slow pushes, making sure every minion wave enters the base, making it nigh impossible for the Fnatic to flank. You can look at YellOwStaR. He's hiding around the walls. He wants to catch somebody off guard, get sped up, going for the combo here, but misses because Origen can just sidestep, re-engage.
But look at the barrel! Fnatic have lost one, they've lost their captain, even through the unbreakable will. Origen are going to push forward. The Chain of Corruption doesn't connect, but it didn't need to because Niels has got himself another kill. Origen are pushing into the Nexus Stars for Fnatic in a 2v5. It's simply not going to happen. For the first time in 3 months, 12 weeks, 6 patches, one team added 1 loss to Fnatic's roster, and it's Origen in the finals.
Can we just praise Origen for that pick and ban phase? Such a smart setup with Varus as the last pick. They had all the combinations to build a great poke comp. Braum was there as well to stop some of the wave clear coming into